Hey guys, Jim here. Welcome back once again. Today we're going to be taking a look at another Jack Eolf Knives offering. This time for the month of January 2024, starting off the new year the right way with the Sharpshooter Jack. Now, why is this particular one special? Well, it is the 2024 reissue of the very first Jack Eolf knife ever offered. This design, the gunstock design, is what launched the brand about a year and a half ago. Now, it's been refreshed with new finishes and new materials, so you get the classic gunstock look and aggressively hollow ground S90V clip point blade and the awesome new materials it's being offered in. So I guess we could start here. We'll start with the artwork on the canister, on the tube, the Sharpshooter Jack. And there is your homie Jack with his Barrett. Now, obviously, the whole gun stock idea isn't going to be based off of modern tactical rifles like a Barrett 50 cal. It's more of the the old range guns, the old lever guns. But got to bring things into the modern times like Jack Eolf Knives does. Now, as I get this open, you'll see that I struggle to get stickers out as always. All right, so there is your sticker. Oh my goodness, it was in there the whole time. All right, so before I started recording, what a pain in the butt. Before I started recording, I could not find the leather slip for this knife. So I figured, well, I guess when I took it out to play with it before, I took the leather slip and I did something with it. I couldn't figure out what. I've been looking under couch cushions. I've been looking everywhere for about the past 45 minutes. I finally gave up and I grabbed my Lil Bro Jack slip and just stuck it in there so that y'all didn't think that they're shipping the knives without the slip cases anymore, because I don't want to screw anybody up. And it was in there the whole time, but I guess it was just kind of tucked in the shadows. Anyway, so you get two of these Sharpshooter stickers. You get your leather slip. You get your POG, as always, and your cool packaging. And safely held within this bright orange microfiber cleaning cloth is going to be your new knife. Now, I am pretty excited about this one because it just looked so damn cool. Now, if you came in late to the brand like I did, you missed a whole bunch of really cool knives. I missed the first 4 or 5 models, the Sharpshooter obviously being one of them because it was the very first. So if you're late like I am, then you'll love, that they're being revisited and offered in new and duplicate variations. So on the reissues like the Vampire Jack and what else did they just reissue? I'm sorry, I'm blanking right now. Anyway, they went back to the well and they brought back 1 or 2 of the original variations. So those of us that missed out on those could have gotten those. And then they started doing cool new stuff, like this is the new Vampire. My original was the Lava Flow, which I do believe they brought Lava Flow back, I should say. Now this is the all black with the dark matter red. That was one of the new variations. Oh, yeah. Look at that bad boy. That is gorgeous. Really aggressive clip point blade on there. Walk and talk is fantastic. We'll get to all that in just a couple of minutes. Now, the covers, or what we normally call scales in the traditional folder world, are Fatcarbon Dark Matter Glow. Say what? That's right. They glow pretty decently, but they show no hint of color or glow in normal light. It's really, really stealthy. You can't tell at all that there is an underlying color in there that's going to glow in the dark. So let's play with that a little bit, shall we? Do a little shameless self-promotion. If you have not bought one of the Cylon lights that I designed, you probably need to get your ass going on that. They're pretty badass. Yes, they're expensive, but the amount of detail work that goes into these is utterly insane. So we give this quite, you're starting to see it come through now. And you're thinking, oh, it glows a little bit. No, no, no. Buddy boy, it glows more than just a little bit. Watch this. Hell yeah. So the side that got very little light is barely glowing. And now we see just what it's capable of when you expose it to enough light. And my studio is not completely dark right now. There's a little bit of sunlight peeking in from behind the blackout curtains that I have over the windows. I left them just a little bit open by mistake. And as you see, you can't tell that there's any color in there. It just looks like your typical, marbled carbon fiber. It looks fan-friggin-tastic. So cool, so slick, so awesome. And the thing is, while that's a bit gimmicky, that's just there for fun. It's not practical. It's not going to hold a charge, for 5 or 6 hours where you can charge it up before bed and leave it on the nightstand and be able to see it in the middle of the night. It's not going to work like that. So it really is more gimmicky than anything else. But I dug that. Mainly because a lot of the other materials and finishes being offered on this go-around, I already have in other models, and I didn't really want to duplicate those. I try to do something different every time if I can. Now, the walk and talk is substantial. Let's give you a listen. Yeah. Sounds great, and it's got a lot of character. Now, the pull is more of a medium pull, so it's not that hard at all. I don't really put the pull on a number scale like a lot of, professional slip joint collectors do. They'll say, oh, that's a 5 or a 6. I really don't have that degree of experience in slip joints to be able to say that with any confidence. I'd say it's pretty middle of the road, so if the scale is a 10, sure, it's probably a 4 or a 5, if that were the case. But it's also easier to grab onto because of this big cutaway. You've got a lot of the blade exposed. Some of them don't have as much blade exposed. The Vampire is one that you don't get a lot of blade exposed. And that's got a pretty heavy pull on it as well. Now the Little Bro, and I brought this up because I want to show you some size comparisons here. So put the Sharpshooter out here in the middle. We put the Little Bro there. And we put the Big Bro Jack up here. Okay, so let's see. Put them all ass to ass like everything should be. And we see it's a little bit bigger than the Little Bro, a little bit smaller than the Big Bro. But at its widest part of the frame, it has the widest handle of the three. And while these are very neutral in their ergonomics, this is one that I feel that people are just going to go, wow, I can really feel how this handle is shaped. And it feels really, really good. And I think it's going to appeal to a lot of people. One of my favorites in that category from Jack Eolf Knives has been the Javelina. And when I first got the Javelina, it was not a favorite. I'm like, it's nice, it's cool. But it was when I started putting it in my hand and playing with it and cutting with it that I went, now I get it. Now I see why people are excited about that particular shape. And I look at the gunslinger. I'm sorry, am I saying gunslinger? I apologize. And that's really where my head is at from the gunslinger model. My apologies. The Sharpshooter. When I look at the Sharpshooter, I go, well, it's not my favorite shape because it is very distinct. It is very, very different from all the rest. I like it, but I wouldn't say that I just fell madly in love with it like the Cyborg or the Vampire or the Low Drag. But when you put it in your hand, it's undeniable, especially if you have large hands like I do. Now, if you've got little baby hands, little tiny hands, and maybe you can get 3 fingers up here instead of 2, I get 2 and 2. That's how my hand works out. Maybe if you got little tiny, little delicate hands, it might not work for you. Or if you have big, giant bear claws, it may not work for you. But for me, wearing a large to extra large motorcycle glove, this is a really, really good fit and feels really, really good. Now, the whole point of the brand, in case you don't know, is to entice modern tactical knife buyers to begin appreciating traditionals. These classic patterns, lay that right down there. These classic patterns, in my opinion, they reflect generations of knife making, but being retold in modern materials gives a whole different breed of collector an appreciation for them. So you've got titanium, you've got carbon fiber, you've got the bead blasting of the titanium. That's the kind of finish that you wouldn't have seen, 70, 80 years ago. And obviously the glow in the dark nature. Let's see how well it's still glowing, even though I haven't charged it for a while. It's not doing too bad. Now, it has been under the studio lights, but it hasn't been under the direct light. So it's still glowing pretty well. So I think that infusion of the glow in the dark makes it even a bit more modern. And it may be a bit more modern than you want to go. Then you'll go for something a bit more standard in the Jack Eolf Knives lineup. And I should have already popped them up on the screen during editing. Future me should have already shown you what the other variations are. If not, now is the good time to do that, future me. Now, you don't have to be an old fart to appreciate a slip joint, thanks to incredible custom makers like Enrique Pena, Jim Burke, and brands like Jack Eolf Knives. What they've done is they brought old to new again. They've brought these classic traditional looks into that modern audience. Enrique did it by I don't want to say upgrading, but he did it by upwardly stylizing. How about that? Upwardly stylizing the knives. He also made them front flippers. It looked like a traditional slip joint, but they weren't. They were front flippers. And Enrique has been a massive player in the actual, the custom slip joint world for many, many, many years. This is a guy that you'll buy a multi-blade custom from that you'll pay $2,000, $2,500, $3,000 for because of his level of skill. And then when he decided to do some cool production knives, once he dominated the tactical knife space with the diesel, he went off and did some really cool classic traditional slip joint designs in front flippers and made some really, really, really cool knives. And you got guys like Jim Burke, as unbelievably talented as he is and his incredible, crazy hand grinds, he brought that into the slip joint world. He started making really awesome looking slip joints with cool compound grinds and more aggressive designs in the blade styles. And people that would have normally never, ever considered buying a slip joint, they were all of a sudden doing it. Then Andre de Villiers did the same thing, maker out of South Africa. And that was actually the very first slip joint that I had ever reviewed, which was the ADV Butcher slip joint. And it was really, really cool. Now, it wasn't enough to make me go, I'm going to start buying slip joints. I'm going to start collecting them. I'm going to go gaga goo goo crazy over them and start carrying one every day. Jack Eolf Knives is what did that to me. Ever since I got the very first one, I've been carrying a slip joint every single day. No matter what other knives I carry, folders, fixed blades, whatever, I've always got one of the Jack Eolfs in my pocket at all times, no matter what. Okay, but enough of that. We're going to get over here into specs, a very important part of the video. Now, I'm changing my structure just a little bit because what I was doing for many, many months was I was breaking things down into the TLDW, Too Long Didn't Watch, where I gave you the quick pros and cons. Then I did the specs, then I did the review. And it broke away from my normal free-flowing, hey, this is what I think of the knife as I think of it. And I really like the free flow pattern a lot more. It's more natural for me. And also, it's a lot less work to do in editing. I don't have to put a whole bunch of text on the screen. So what I did was I launched a secondary channel. If you're not subscribed to it yet, please go subscribe to it. It's called Jim's Quick Cuts. And what they are is they are short form knife reviews. They're quick, in and out in about 5 minutes or less. So if you like my reviews, you like the type of knives that I bring out, but you just don't want to sit down and spend 20 minutes with me, that's fine. That's what the other channel is for. And when you see something on that channel and you're like, man, that is a super cool knife, I wish Jim would have told me more about the damn thing, then you come back here to this channel and you watch that video and get the full in-depth review, any backstories I may have on the maker or the model or the design inspiration, and that's what this is all about. Okay, so let's get over to the specs right now. So yes, you're looking at a slip joint, you're looking at a gunstock pattern. The covers are Fatcarbon Dark Matter Glow. I don't know why I just paused there for no reason. The bolsters and liners are 6AL4V Dark Blasted Titanium. All of your hardware is titanium, nice polished titanium Torx. Your blade is a hollow ground Crucible S90V steel with a belt satin finish. And they are deeply hollow ground. They're nice and slicey at the edge. Your close length is 3.74 inches. Your blade length is 2.91 inches. With a cutting edge of 2.53 inches to be exact. And your blade stock is 120 thousandths of an inch thick, which is 3 millimeters thick. And your weight is 2.6 ounces. So very lightweight. Of course they have to be because they're being deep carried. They're all the way down in your pocket. And you don't want a whole bunch of weight weighing you down. As you guys know, I am thoroughly addicted to Jack Eolf Knives in a way that I've really never been with any one knife brand. I mean, they've exposed me to slip joints and made me appreciate the mechanical nature of them by way of the unique feeling of opening and closing them. I gotta tell you, every time I go to open a package, I tend to reach for one of my slip joints because I don't know, it feels like you have more of a connection with the knife when you're actively getting past the half stop and getting it popped all the way open and making your slices and then feeling it and hearing it as it closes. It just feels like you're more connected with the knife than our normal, tactical style folders. And honestly, I get excited every month awaiting the surprise of the new release reveal. Because it's another thing that Jack Eolf does that you don't really see many other brands. Actually, I can't think of any other brands that on a regular schedule, every single month, there is a new model. It's like being a gun lover and being a rich gun lover and being in the Cabot 1911. They have like this VIP membership where every month you get an opportunity to buy their gun of the month or whatever. They call it something classier than gun of the month, I think. So every month they make a new offer to their members. Oh, you can buy this $5,000, $8,000, $12,000, $20,000 1911. And only a few people get them. They're very, very exclusive. I mean, that's got to feel kind of fun if you live that kind of lifestyle. I mean, honestly, you've got to be a millionaire at that point to participate in that, where you're spending that much money on one single gun every single month, or at least enough times per year to hold up to that kind of membership. So that's the fun of it. And instead of it being, a $12,000 1911, it's a $299 slip joint. And let's be honest, you're going to use your slip joints a lot more than your 1911s. That's just the way it is, unless you live in like Chicago or something and you're fighting off gangs every day just to park your car in your driveway. I don't know. But I certainly use my knives a lot more than I use my guns. And I tend to spend a lot more money on knives than even I do on guns because there are so many out there that I want for so many different purposes, and they get used all the time. So anyway, that was my very long-winded way of saying I really, really love collecting knives, and especially Jack Eolf Knives. And I get a new high every month. It's like Ben is my dealer. and I get my fix every month. It sounds terrible, but it's kind of what it breaks down to. Just gotta love these things, man. And I love feeling as they open and close. See if we can kind of lay them out like this. Maybe make a cool thumbnail image out of it. What do you think? There we go. And through the magic of video, they have all appeared. We'll see if that makes its way into the thumbnail. Probably not, but hey, what the hell? We'll see. Anyway, guys, thank you so very much for joining me as always and enjoying this addiction of Jack Eolf Knives with me. And I'll see you on the next video.